Rub on easy, easy to make it all don't please me. A little bit funny, the feeling inside. All the rest of don't have a lot of money, but if I did, I'd buy you a house. I hope you don't mind. I hope you don't mind. Hope you don't mind. Oh, how beautiful the world is. Oh, yeah, no, da, da, da. I'm in a Elton John mood today. Elton John. So everything's all right here. Let's just check it out. Let's check out HD. And if we look at HD, seems okay. Seems okay. So hello everyone. Nice to have all of you here, as usual. Pretty cool. So hello everyone, and welcome. This is the Live Tech Show number 62 already. We are January 24th, 2017. This show is every Tuesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2000 hours Universal Time. And I hope that everybody will enjoy today's show. We've got a certain number of questions from the email. So the way it works, we answer the emails first, and when we get to the chat room, if there are some questions, we can check it out. Also, you know, there's some cool people in the chat room that are ready to answer any questions that you might have. So all of that together makes for a cool show with fantastic people. And I want to say hello, everybody. And I'm in a really an Elton John mood. I was listening to some Elton John before the show for an hour and a half. I think I went through like the greatest hits of Elton John. I listened to Elton John for such a long time. Felt good. You know when you listen to an artist too much, and then you just get tired, so you just don't listen anymore. And it's been a really long time, and then you go to YouTube and you find the greatest hits of Elton John, and you start playing it. It's like, oh, it's good. It's been a long time since I've heard. There's a lot of artists that you get tired of sometimes. Some artists I don't never get tired, but some, like U2. I used to be a big fan of U2. I'm still a big fan, but I listen to U2 albums so much that I'm just sick and tired of hearing some U2 songs. And then after a while, you just get back into the mood. So it was really nice and puts you in a cheery mood, We're having a snowstorm here, by the way. It's kind of calmed down now, but we had some freezing rain. We were supposed to have like a foot of snow or something. It doesn't look like we're going to have a foot because it's not snowing right now, but very high winds, and at times it's almost difficult to see the other side of the street. So, but for us, here in Montreal, having a foot of snow is like everyday life is continuing. So, hey everyone, welcome to this live show. Of course, this is the show where we answer your questions. Where do you send your questions? helpwithyourcomputers@gmail.com. And there's a chat room. If you have a Gmail account, you can access the chat room. Some great people there, and I hope you have fun today. In our live show, always fun to have everybody on board, as usual. Okay, so let's check it out. First of all, donations, of course, they are essential to me continuing this show. helpwithyourcomputers@gmail.com. Of course, Patreon is the place where you can give a donation every month, and you set your limits and your amounts. And this is cool because you don't have to renew. You just, let it go. And when you can't, you can't. And if you can, you can. So patreon.com/radio and computers. PayPal also at the Yahoo email that you see here. They are greatly appreciated. Honestly, in the past 6 months with the crappy monetization of YouTube, it helped me a lot in, continuing and keeping the spirits up in doing the live shows. And I'd like to call out one thing right now. Since I started asking for donations, it's pretty much always the same people that donate. And I'd like to call out that person that's watching right now, that will be watching the recorded show, that finds it interesting, and that finds that I've helped you in any way, or even the videos that I do every day or almost every day. If you like what I do, I'm calling out to that person that hasn't donated yet. And you don't have to donate a big amount, if everybody would give just $1, it'd make a great amount, it's not up to always the same people to donate. So think about it, and of course, I understand if you can't donate, it's quite all right. So Patreon and PayPal, great places to donate, and thank you to everybody that has donated yet, and to everybody that will donate in the future, and it really helps me a lot. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to start with a few questions from the email. And basically, no, I haven't heard of Stephen Mail in a little while, Tim, by the way. And hope he's all right. And that nothing bad happened. Okay, so we have a few questions. The questions, a few people, Jacqueline McBride, asked me a question about how to stop keyloggers. Also talking about ransomware, malware, virus, Trojans, keyloggers. We have an Andrew that is asking for, that has questions also for that. So this answers both Jacqueline McBride's questions and Andrew's questions. And they are regarding, of course, the difference in each type of threat. So basically, Trojans and viruses differ in Trojans will be sneaky, hide inside your computer, and just try to stay low profile. They're dangerous because they are the types of viruses that is almost impossible to detect. And what they try to do is simply gather information about you. Viruses are another type, but they also get transmitted by some of your computer's means. So for example, if you have a mail client, a virus is capable of replicating itself and just getting into an attachment into a mail client without even you noticing. It can send itself through messaging platforms, Facebook Messenger, or if you have some kind of Skype, stuff like that. Ransomware. Malware, by the way, is kind of the general term for everything that is bad. Ransomware is that type of malware, virus, whatever, that actually will ask you for something monetary. So it's going to take your computer and make it hostage, and it's going to ask you, it's going to say, oh, by the way, the FBI is right now on your trace, but if you pay $200, we're going to leave you alone. That's ransomware. Or another type of ransomware is your files are encrypted. And if you want to have them back, it's 2 Bitcoins, which amounts right now to like $2,000. And finally, keyloggers. Keyloggers are horrible in the way that they are because they will beat every type of security that you've put around to try to prevent somebody from actually getting information from your computer. Keyloggers will actually simply look at the keyboard, what you are typing. So basically everything you type is sent away, and somewhere a computer is looking at the string of characters that you're typing. And of course, it's easy to see username and passwords that were typed on the keyboard. It's easy to see credit card information when you were actually ordering something on the web. So they are horrible because they are first line. They just look at the keys on your keyboard. So some malware viruses sometimes can be prevented from stealing information by by using VPNs or stuff like that sometimes. But I got to say that keyloggers are horrible for what they are, because it is really the first line. It just looks at the keys on your keyboard and it sends all the information. So basically, that's the thing with keyloggers. It's really, really one of the horrible types of malware that you can get. How is each type of infecting computers? Pretty much all of the same thing. Clicking an attachment from somebody that you didn't look really, and you just clicked, oh, my friend's sending me an attachment, but he never does. You know, there should be some warning signs. A friend of yours that never sends attachments suddenly sends an attachment, or maybe an email. The email looks weird. It doesn't look like something that a friend or a family member might have written to you. Email is really very high up there in getting infected with attachments. It's something that we should ban attachments. I can tell you that. Okay. Also, what else? Downloading illegal stuff on the internet is another way of getting malware. Illegal movies, illegal TV shows, going to torrents, downloading software that are normally paid software, but downloading from a source that says, oh, here it's free. Anything like patches or all sorts of key generators that will give you keys for specific software. These are all illegal stuff, and these are after the email, they're kind of the number one reason why you get bad stuff on your computer. And of course, falling to the attempts of phishing from some websites, like somebody's going to say, hey, you need to update that Flash player. That Flash player really needs to be updated, and it nags you. It tells you, oh, your Flash player is outdated. You need to click here and install it. Never do something like that. Never do anything. Anyways, Flash player is included in Edge and Chrome. There's no reason to in Internet Explorer. There's no reason to download Flash. It's already in the browser. So be very careful what you do. Prevention of infection, that's the main question. Jacqueline says, how can I prevent myself from getting a keylogger? Or, they all of these, Trojans, virus, malware, ransomware, or keyloggers, they are all arriving in your computer in exactly the same way. You click on something you shouldn't have clicked. You download illegal stuff. You didn't update your machine, so basically no updates means your Windows operating system has security holes everywhere. So just visiting a page can be enough when you're not updated. And basically it's up to you. Your security is up to you. The antivirus, of course, it's okay to have an antivirus that runs and checks your PC, but don't rely on it. That's not how you'll stay secure. Relying on an antivirus is, the bad way of having security. Any tech guy, any security expert is going to say, if they tell you what to do and what not to do, you know what? Antivirus is very far in the list of things you need. There's many more things first, because you are the number one security of your machine. So that means, not clicking everything you see, not falling to bad guys trying to lure you into something like, the obvious Flash player. Not, of course, clicking attachments that you don't know from who they come from. And I always tell everybody, if you send an attachment to someone, make sure that you, in the body of the message, tell them, oh, by the way, that PowerPoint presentation is in attachment. Then you know that that's the PowerPoint presentation. If that person is not telling you what's on the attachment, you should ignore the attachments generally. And just be careful. It's the number one security is you. You are careful with your PC, you're careful what you do. You know what? You'll be okay, even if you don't have an antivirus. So many people and clients that I have get panic. Oh, my antivirus stopped working 3 days ago. I hope I'm not infected. That's not how it works. Your antivirus might not work for a year, and you're not going to be infected if you're careful with what you do, and that your security updates are always done. So don't worry that your antivirus stopped for 24 hours, that you're really having a big problem. Not at all the case. People go crazy over that, and it's not the case. You are the security, so it means if you have good practices online, if you're careful with what you do online, you know what? You're going to be okay. And whatever you have here, it's all in the same way. They all infect your PC in the same way. They'll find a security hole if you haven't patched your Windows, or you clicked on something that you shouldn't have had. And you know what? Most people have already a good, they already know when they're doing something not right. Like I always say, pretty much 95% of all my clients, if not 99% of all the clients I have that got infected, told me, oh, I clicked on something. I thought it was weird. And it already answers the question, why did you click on it if you thought it was weird? Don't go around finding a million types of software that do a gazillion things. That's always bad ideas. And, if it's not bad, it can give you adware or all sorts of pop-ups of publicity and stuff like that. So be very, very careful. And if you do get one of these things on your PC, things that you can do, you can scan your computer with your antivirus. You can get Malwarebytes anti-malware, which is a very, very good piece of software for checking out viruses, malware on your PC. You can check Super Anti-Spyware, which is also another one that's pretty good. But you know what? Some of those things are so difficult to remove that the best and only way that you can absolutely 100% be sure that you don't have anything anymore is to reinstall Windows by doing a clean install. That means reinstalling Windows by erasing everything and have a fresh new copy of Windows. If you do that, the viruses are gone because you just rewritten Windows from scratch like it was a brand new computer. And there are some cases where the only way that you can really get rid of it is to just reinstall Windows. So, I know that for a lot of people, reinstalling Windows is like, oh man, I don't want to do that. But sometimes you just have there's just no other ways. If you do get something, I got to say, basically, that's pretty much it. Nothing else, nothing really special. Malwarebytes is a pretty good one, but there's no foolproof 100% software that will help you with that. There are some software that actually don't work very well, or there are, there are some software. Sorry, people. There are even the best software like Malwarebytes is not 100%. As a tech guy, I've often had to use several types on some computers, several types of anti-malware, antivirus, one after the other, in order to try and clean out a PC. And of course, a lot of the manual search for viruses. There's a lot of viruses that, they detect. Malwarebytes, for example, will detect, but is unable to remove. And then you have to, go and use the manual way of searching for where it is hidden in the computer and so on. That's why reinstall Windows from scratch by removing everything on the drive is the best way that you can remove everything and you're sure that you're not infected. And don't even if you're careful and everything, if you ever think your PC is infected, please be careful and don't start going online and purchasing things on Amazon and whatever, because you might have your credit cards and every information needed stolen from you. And that's very important. Okay, next we have, what do we have? Yeah, like everybody's saying here, like in the chat room. it's you know, in some cases of infection, it's better to reinstall. And you know, even if you are infected and asking you are asking a tech guy to clean your PC, just make sure that you know that the possibility is very high that the tech guy is going to say, I'm going to reinstall Windows and remove everything. And so be prepared for that. You know, as a tech guy, so many people are not prepared for that. When I go over and I say, well, this is so infected that I'm reinstalling Windows, they're like, well, you can't. Well, I have to. It's the only way. And, you know, a lot of people are not prepared for that. Never. And that is very, very problematic. You know, if I go to a client says, well, I can't, you know, you can't reinstall, I'm going to lose my software. And I see that it's infected like it's really, really like, you know, no tomorrow. I'm going to tell that person, well, I ain't doing the job because nobody's going to be able to clean that PC out of viruses without reformatting. So, you know, having a backup of everything is a must. And unfortunately, I'd be surprised if more than, you know, 10 or 15% of PC users actually back up their PCs, which is a pretty small number, I can tell you that. So, Android questions. Okay, Android questions are coming to us from Felipe. Felipe in Puerto Rico says hello, and he wants to. He has a few questions. First of all, he says that he's waiting for Android Nougat on his LG phone, and he's heard somewhere that they have slowed down. He wonders if it's true. Yeah, one of the things that happened, a lot of companies are slowing down right now with Nougat, including the Galaxy S7. They've slowed down the pace of installs of Nougat Android 7. It seems that some people are reporting issues, including battery issues, and not just on the Samsung Galaxy S7, several LG models, and other phones that are supposed to be the Sony Xperia, I think. There are quite a few that are just saying, whoa, wait a minute, something's wrong. So it is slowing down right now. There's also the fact that your own carrier that your phone is with might also block the update itself. So you might see that everybody with other carriers or other people around the internet all have the update and you don't see it. That's because it could be your carrier that's saying, well, we're not going to install it right now. Because one of the problems, and that's to answer your second question, why does it take so long for Android to get on phones, is simple, because two things need to go through for that to happen. The first, the company that makes your phone needs to test that new version of Android on your phone. So for example, for the past 6 months, Samsung was testing the Android Nougat version 7 on the Galaxy S7, S7 Edge. They work out the bugs, they work out how everything's going, they do their own little environment. Then they start rolling it to a certain number of people. That there was the kind of an insider program, if you want, for that. Then they roll it out to a small number of people that have a regular phone. And if they see it goes well, they start rolling it out. Now that's the first step. That step takes a certain time. Now from there they have to wait for the carrier to say, yeah, okay, it can go through, because the carrier is the second line and is the first line where people are going to call up to say, hey, my phone's all screwed up. Because that's the biggest problem with on iPhones, when something's screwed up, you can call your carrier, but there's also, you can call Apple. There's Apple Care, and even your carrier will say at some point, well, go to the Apple Store and check it out with them. There's something wrong. Problem with Samsung, not Samsung, but with other handsets, you can't really go to, a Samsung store or a LG store. You have only one line of defense, and it's your carrier. So your carrier not only now sees a new version, but has to answer questions that they will have, because a lot of people are going to call and say, hey, I'm lost. I lost my contacts. I lost this. I've updated my phone. My phone is all, it's frozen, doesn't do anything, or bricked or whatever. And that's the other problem, is the carrier needs to take that charge of answering. And that's the problem with Android, is that the carrier, which technically is just there to give you phone service and answer simple questions, is stuck at being the tech guy for Android problems. And because everybody, or a lot of people, are not very techy, a simple change might mean, I'm going to call, Rogers or whatever company you're with, because I don't understand why this is like that. So the carrier will itself block it and wait a certain time to push it to people. So it takes a lot of time to do it. Last, you said that 2 years ago you had one of your phones that was stolen, and you were wondering what to do with phone theft. And well, you know what? Phone theft, there are a few little things you can do. First of all, never leave your phone alone somewhere where it's unattended. I go to a karaoke bar, about once a week, and I see the people leave. They go sing that song and they leave their phone on the table. And you're like, don't do that. Don't leave your phone in the middle of a bar. It's like, a restaurant. Don't leave your phone on the table if you go pee or something. It's something you need to keep your phone with you all the time. That's the first thing. And never leave sight of your phone. There's a lot of people that want to have that phone because they can unlock it and sell it to somebody else. If you do have your phone stolen, okay, you can call your carrier and have the carrier block the number. There's a special serial number that your phone sends out to the carrier when it actually gets on the network. Your carrier can block that, and it can be put on a blacklist, where it means even if they unlock it and they want to use it somewhere else, it's not going to connect, because that ID number is going to be blocked. Unfortunately, a lot of carriers are not really cool with that idea. You have to call them and be very dead serious that you want your phone to be blocked. If you force them and you tell them, I want my phone to be blocked, they will block it. But if you're not super serious, they're not going to block it. And it's idiot, because I think any phones that's stolen should be automatically blocked. And you know what? If that would happen and that phone would be useless, there wouldn't be any phone thefts anymore. Because every time somebody would get his phone stolen, well, the guy would just have a brick with nothing to do. So that's one. The other thing you can do, and you know what, that saved a friend of mine that we're at a bar. He has an iPhone. If you have an iPhone, you can, of course, with the iCloud service, you can activate Where's My Phone, and you can go on the webpage of Apple and with your Apple ID and see on a map where your phone is located. That did help. It's important to do it because it did help. He got his phone stolen. We're together having a beer. Immediately, when he finds that his phone was stolen, tap, go, and then we notice that his phone is at a bar like 3 corner streets from where we are. So I look at him and say, hey, put your jacket, we're going to go there. And while we're going, of course, I have my phone so I can still see if the phone is still there while we're going there. And we get there, and we noticed a guy that was at the bar we were having a beer about 15 minutes earlier. So we got, we went to him and was like, hey, you stole the phone. And the guy says, no. So because we were kind of threatening a little bit, the guy pulls out an iPhone. And imagine, it's not even the one that was my friend's iPhone. It was another iPhone. So the guy had like tons of phones in his pockets that he stole everywhere. So he said, "Oh, here's your iPhone." I said, "No, that." So he looked at it and he saw the picture on the phone. It's like, this is not my phone. And so I activated, because you can do that. You can say, "Ring the phone." So it rang the phone. So in his pocket, a phone started ringing. So now he couldn't say he didn't steal it. So even though the chances of something like that happening is not that big, well, it can happen, and it happened in our case. And so we went to see the guy, and we were like, you gotta, my friend didn't want to get into trouble, because basically I would have called the cops, and I said, no, okay, I hate theft, I hate thieves, and you know what, we should do action when somebody is, a bad guy. But, my friend didn't want to go to court and everything. He said, I'm going to have to show up in court and say, yeah, he stole my phone and blah, blah, blah. And I said, it's up to you. And so we let the guy go, unfortunately. But he got tons of phones in his pocket. So imagine the number of phones that were stolen that day. On Android, you can do the same thing with your Gmail account. Your Gmail account and your Android phone have the same functionality. You can actually find your phone. And when you actually set up your Gmail account in your phone, in the options of your phone, there's the option of activating Where's My Phone, and you can see it through your Gmail account. Simply go to your Gmail account, and there's an option where you can see where your phone is. You can have it ring. You can even install apps if you want. There's an app that I don't remember the name. There's an app that actually is very cool. It can actually take a picture with your phone on Android. Even if the screen is locked, you can activate it to take pictures. I forgot the name, but I need to find that software again. And basically, just in case, maybe you'll see the face of somebody you know. So, but this is something that drives me crazy. And at the most basic form, if every carrier would block the phone that is stolen, you know what? Nobody would steal them, because they aren't worth anything if they aren't working. So, that's the bad thing here. So that's pretty much what to do. Call your phone provider, tell them you got your phone stolen, have them block it. If it's an iPhone, you can even contact Apple and have Apple directly block the iPhone's number, serial number, which means it won't be able to get on a carrier network anymore. And install or find a way to have that Where's My Phone thing. Sometimes it's just lost. I've used it. It's gonna be a little funny, but I've used it maybe twice, 2 or 3 times. A few times that I went to parties or to one of the funniest story with my when I had the iPhone, Find My iPhone. I go to a party. And a friend of mine offers me to bring me back home because I'm kind of drunk. And I didn't notice, but my phone fell in his car. But I didn't notice anything. So I get home and I start like, where's my phone? So I immediately go on the Apple website and I look at, on the map, where's my phone? And I see my phone moving at very high speed on the highway, and I'm like, oh God, my phone fell in his car, because I know that he's going home in that direction. So, It's like I see it. It was just so funny seeing the dot move so fast on the map. And so I call him up and say, hey, I'm sorry, but you're gonna have to bring me back my phone. It fell in your car. So he turned around and brought me back my phone. But just for that, that's also something useful. I mean, you can just find your phone. Sometimes it's just you left it somewhere and you just don't find it anymore. What's cool with that also, and I've used it a few times. You put your phone somewhere in your house, and you just don't know where you put it because you put it in some strange place that you never leave your phone usually, and you're trying to find your phone. So you can either, if you have a home line, you can call yourself and have your phone ring. But if you don't have a home line, you just go on the internet and you just have your phone, click to have your phone ring. And so you'll hear it ringing and you'll know where it is. But, man, that story about my friend going away and seeing the dot of, on the map going so fast, I'm like, oh man, the phone fell in his car. So, anyways, fun little stories. But, it can help you in many, many ways. So don't think, it's cool to do that. Okay. Questions that come from let me just go back to the email. It comes from somebody called Samuel. Samuel says, okay, I like watching documentaries, movies, TV shows. I don't want to pay for Netflix. I don't want to download illegal stuff. But I like to know, is there some way to get free movies, TV shows, documentaries, and all that, things like that on the internet? Yes, there are. And I mean legally. We're not talking about the illegal stuff where you're trying to find a movie and there's this, weird website that has the streaming version of something that's still in the movie theaters or, What I'm going to actually tell you here is totally legal, and there's a lot of stuff there. Just with that, you'll have a lot of stuff. Of course, it's lacking in what's new, but if you don't mind, and if you like old movies, if you like, older movies, maybe black and white movies, I actually use this a lot when I want to watch something. The Internet Archive is one. Internet Archive is a great place for documentaries and TV shows and movies and things from the past. There's tons of things to watch there. It's an archive of all the digital media that has existed and will exist in the future. What they want to do here is catalog everything. So here you got, documentaries, you got some old movies, you got old TV shows of all sorts, you've got ebooks, if you want to read. You got actually thousands of ebooks that you can read. They have all sorts of things that are accessible on the Internet Archive, and it's pretty cool. When does it appear on the Internet Archive? Well, basically, the Internet Archive will have it online when it has either no more copyrights, so that means that it's free to everyone to watch, or if the author, the original author, said, well, it's okay, you can, give it free, it's okay. Another interesting and pretty surprising website that I use a lot, I don't know if it's available everywhere around the world, Crackle.com is actually a great place for old movies. To give you an idea, I was watching on Crackle, I watched Ghostbusters the other day. It's like I haven't watched Ghostbusters in, I don't know, maybe 20 years. Last time that I watched Ghostbusters was at least 20 years ago. And I was like, oh, Ghostbusters, why not? And so Crackle has these 70s and 80s movies of all sorts, action, horror, comedies, everything. And they kind of have a rotating schedule. So that means you will have a certain number of movies, and they do have a pretty big choice. And then you will see each movie has a date, a deadline. So that deadline means this movie is online until that date, and after that date, if they're going to remove it, but they're going to replace it with something else. So that means if you go to Crackle regularly, and by the way, there's an app for Crackle, I believe, for Android and iOS, and there's Crackle website that you can go to. There's a free registration that you can do. And basically, it's ad supported. So while you're watching your movie, it's a little bit like watching TV. There's a few ads during the movie, so that you'll have to go through. But you know what? The movies are free, so who cares, you know? And they have an interesting choice. And like I said, you know, all the movies you'll watch will at some point expire from that site, and they get replaced with other movies. So, for example, one of the movies that I wanted to watch at Halloween last year, that is always kind of my favorite Halloween, which is Fright Night, the original Fright Night from the 80s. And I had a DVD here, but I have no DVD player, or you know, I would have to use my computer or something. And it's like, I don't want to use my computer. And I went on Crackle, and oh, Fright Night is on Crackle. Who cares? I'm going to watch it on Crackle. So I watched it on Crackle. And so, you know, go there once a month at least, and you will see all sorts of old movies. So you'll have stuff from the 60s, 70s, 80s, a few 90s movies, but mostly older movies that have, you know, already pretty much done all of their cash. And but it's a nice place to go to, Crackle.com. And one place not to forget, YouTube. YouTube is amazing in what it has. And I gotta say, especially if you're a fan of black and white movies of the 40s, 50s, 60s, I gotta say the number of old movies that are on YouTube is pretty amazing. To give you an idea, the other day I was watching, what was it? Something like Swamp Monster of, I don't know, it's like a 1951 movie. And I had read about it in a website. And basically, I was curious. So I typed the movie title. Since it was an old black and white movie, I said, I'm going to type the title in YouTube just for the fun of it. And you know what? The first website that I got to, the first you know, slide of YouTube was the full movie, an hour and 30 minutes of the Swamp Thing or something like that it was called. And so it's very surprising what you can get on YouTube. Just be careful not to be fooled. A lot of YouTube videos that say, oh yeah, you can watch this here, are actually links of websites that are not very trustable. So don't go on YouTube and click any links that bring you to a site. Only look at the YouTube ones that are online, full movie, without clicking any other link than just the window. Documentaries. YouTube is the documentary place for everything. If you have, you know, I was watching, what was it, last week? I think I was watching, you know, I like all sorts of, you know, science and technology and stuff like that of every kind. Last week on YouTube, I watched a 1 hour documentary on the Tsar Bomba, which is the biggest nuclear weapon ever detonated by man, which is a bomb that the USSR had detonated in the 50s, I believe. And basically, or the 60s, but, you know, somewhere there. And so, you know, the full documentary was there. And there's documentaries about anything that you want to, you know, you want to find out. I have a documentary about, I don't know, JFK's assassination. Just go on YouTube. You're going to find one that's like an hour and a half. And it's cool. You also have the funny stuff on YouTube, you know, like one of the things I was looking at once is the funny 50s videos that the Americans made to try to, you know, get off the scare of the nuclear time. And they were showing, like, for example, how students can prepare to avoid being, roasted by a nuclear weapon. And basically, today you look at this and it's like, wow, that was so stupid. But, it's kind of interesting. Another thing that I was watching is there's a lot of local stuff. And one of the things I was watching is a Canadian Broadcasting Corporation documentary on how, and get this, you women out there are going to have a laugh at this and say, oh God, really? There was a 1958 black and white documentary that comes from the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation on how women should behave with their husbands. And another one was how women need to have a party at home for the birthday of their children. And I mean, I was looking at that and if you want to laugh your head off, look at these things. It's like there's tons of these little things, and you know what? They're all there. It's just amazing. Yeah, you like the roasted part, thing, fast load? So very surprising. If you want to stay in the legal stuff, very surprising what you can get with these websites. So I don't know if there's there's a lot of stuff on free movies. So topfreedocumentaries.com. So Tim Robinson says topfreedocumentaries.com. So pretty cool. So Grateful Pearls, take a deep breath and forget about, look at me. Forget about Trump for a while. Yeah, there's old-time radio shows. There's all sorts of things. It's an amazing what you can get on the web. I can tell you that. Really amazing. Okay, what else do we have here? What do we have here? Okay, email coming from. Sorry, Grateful Pearls, but take a deep breath. You're stuck with that guy for 4 years, so just look at me. It's time to watch the tech guy. It's not time to talk about Trump. One thing I wanted to say about, there's Albert Zappa that has a question about why his PC never seems, he says it never happens to his Mac. That is a weird one. He says that turned on my PC and some videos I recorded were gone. Some photos were missing, and also my File Explorer had changed its layout. Everything was fine when I powered it off, and when I powered it up the next day, these things were missing or changed. I have never been able to figure these things out. I have add-ons like LastPass Manager or others be there and the next day be gone. Are these things just normal? No, they are not normal at all. It's not normal that things that you have one day are not there the next day. As for your files, be very, very, very careful. On the file side, a lot of people don't, and that's maybe not well explained in the File Explorer and everywhere. Sometimes people record videos or files. They don't see that it was recorded in the OneDrive on the cloud, and when they try to find it with the File Explorer in their own folders in their PCs, they say, well, where's my video? It's not there anymore. And it's sometimes in the cloud. It's in your OneDrive folder. That's one thing to be careful about. And when you go on your File Explorer in Windows 10, your left side, the File Explorer, has this PC and your folders in your computer. But it also has a second portion, which is the OneDrive folders that are also pictures, documents, and music and stuff like that. So be careful with that. You know what? You seem to have some kind of profile problem with maybe when Windows boots up. I've seen this a few times in Windows 8 and 10, where you boot up and your profile seems to kind of boot into a different direction, and you lose things. And that is, I've seen that mostly on an HP computer. Do you have an HP computer just by any chance? I've seen that on HP computers. For some reason, those computers seem to do that more often. I don't know if it's a driver or something. Yeah, but even if, do you have a, is your Windows computer with a Microsoft account, Albert, or a local account? Because if you have a Microsoft account, you can use, you have cloud available, even if you don't use it. It's still there. So if you look fast, you see that, oh, I'm saving my video in documents, but it's OneDrive documents. That's one thing you might have checked. Toshiba, okay, that's interesting, but it's not supposed to be like that. Do you have only one Windows 10, okay, Microsoft account? That explains that you are using the cloud, okay? Microsoft account automatically links your Windows 10 operating system to OneDrive. Be careful. Make sure that the stuff isn't going there. Do you have only one computer? It could be some kind of weird thing happening with the sync capabilities between Windows 10 on one computer and on your Toshiba. There's a lot of things that can happen. But even if you don't have OneDrive app, you still have access to the OneDrive folders. That's kind of complex because it's not always easy to see that you're on one or the other. So it's difficult to know exactly what's happening. You know, there are some problems like that. That what I need to see is to be there and look at, first of all, how you use your computer, and second, how you know what's happening. Sometimes you have to see by yourself what's happening. It's not always super easy to really know what's happening. It happens all the time. It happens from, you know, what, it happened once, or it happens regularly, and you have more than one PC that's syncing its settings with your other PC. There's some weird behavior sometimes between two Windows 10 operating systems in this that you know are syncing together all the settings. Sometimes it's weird what happens. There are some weird artifacts from that. So weird. Yeah, by the way, please, yeah, I talked about it in my news bulletin. If you have a Mac, and if you have okay, one PC, the rest are Macs. There's something weird happening, but I don't know. I would have to see it to see really what's happening on your PC, Albert, unfortunately. It could be some kind of a profile bug. I've seen that a few times, a profile bug, where the profile seems to kind of not work right, and it kind of puts your stuff in another profile. Also, what I've seen very often is a temporary profile. You boot up one day, it's like you're in Windows, but you're in something different. Your stuff is still there, but Windows just went into another profile suddenly. So there's always the reinstall Windows option, like Mario says, that could maybe fix something that's wrong with the operating system. But I don't know. And yeah, you know, I'd like to see how you recorded your videos and where you recorded them. They're maybe not missing. You know, one thing also that's very, very difficult to cope with people is the fact that people will record, say, a video with software, and they're going to say, oh, it's I lost my video. What do you mean? Well, when I go into the software and file and open, I used to have it there, and it's not there anymore. Yeah, but it recorded in a folder on your PC. So take the File Explorer and check each folder. Make sure that you haven't just the software you're using hasn't lost its links to the things you were doing. I always, one of the things that makes me always smile a little bit is people say, when I ask them, for example, I lost my Word documents. Okay, where do you put your Word documents in general? Well, they're in Word. Yeah, but they're in a folder somewhere. Yeah, in Word. No, your stuff isn't in Word. It's in a folder. I get that all the time. And they're like, well, it's in Word, but it's not in Word anymore. Okay, but look, if you go in Documents, it's in Documents. Is that, you'll go there and say, is that your stuff? And they're like, oh yeah, it's that. Why aren't they in Word anymore? Well, that's because they're never in that software. They're in a folder somewhere on your PC, but maybe the links that send them from that place to that place, say a software update, might remove that list, And don't laugh, Vladimir. You know what? I would say that is at least 3 people out of 4 will say, I lost my Excel files. Okay, okay, you save them in Documents usually? No, in Excel. Well, okay, well, you already with just that phrase, you're like, okay, let's go through the folders and examine, because you already know, okay, you kind of don't know finally where you're saving your stuff. So just check that out. What about a system restore? You can try it. That's possible. If for example, if something happened with your profile, you can try a system restore to before that problem. If everything comes back, it might be that something in the registry changed your profile. Try it out. You have nothing to lose anyway. Try a system restore. And if it happens really often, if you see that all the time, I would reinstall Windows. Maybe go to make sure that you reset. So basically, it's something that's very usual, and I'm sure that there's some people watching that are saying a thing. It's like, well, my files are in Word. I'm not laughing at you guys. It's just, it's the everyday tech guy stuff that you see. And it's like, okay, you're telling me your files are in Word, so that means I'll check it out myself. So, okay, what else do we have? Okay, so Albert, try a system restore. You never know. And basically, instead of playing with the registry to try to fix, profile problems, just reinstall Windows, and it might actually fix your issue completely. Okay, insider preview questions coming to me from Victor, that is in the Ukraine. Hello there, Victor. Nice to have you on board. Through the email, of course. The questions that Victor has. Stuck at 0% on insider build 15002. Cannot upgrade to 15007. You've tried what Microsoft has said. Donna Sarkar did say that some profiles are stuck at 0%, but it's a false stuck. That means if you just wait, you'll see that it's actually going through and doing something. But I do understand what you're saying, because one of my machines that had the insider preview was stuck at 0% and really nothing was happening. The good news is you can fix it. The bad news is you'll have to download the Windows 10, original Windows 10, last version of the 1607 anniversary update. You'll have to install it from scratch. You'll have to go into your Windows updates. Then you'll have to go into your, on the bottom left, you have the Windows Insider program. And there you will actually reactivate Insider previews, put your Microsoft account email, put it in the fast ring, and wait 24 hours because it doesn't actually activate immediately. and you'll see 15007 appear. I did that and it works. And it was the only way that I could have it working. It's a long process and a boring process, but it will fix your stuck at 0% and nothing's happening. So, you know, I started keeping a USB thumb drive that has the latest Windows 10 version already there, so that if I have to do that, it's, you know, I don't have to download it again or recreate the USB key. I just keep that USB key. And if something goes wrong in the Insider machines, I'll reinstall Windows 10 and then reactivate the Insider previews. You're asking me what decides Microsoft from releasing an Insider preview, because you say that there are some weeks that were passed without Insider previews. Sometimes, like we had 2 weeks ago, 2 previews in a week. What is deciding the Insider previews? Well, basically, it's simply the amount of bugs and the way that it goes at the internal testing at Microsoft. So at Microsoft, they have an internal testing. And yeah, well, they have a release, just before I continue, Mario X101. They have a pretty recent release, which is 15002 and the ISO. But the problem, the ISO of 15002 does not, well, not fix that 0% problem. If you reinstall 15002, because I tried it, I took the ISO from the latest build, 15002, installed it on the PC, waited for the updates to go through. It showed me, oh, 15007 is available. And it stayed at 0%, didn't do anything. So it didn't fix the reinstall with the latest ISO. And that 15007, by the way, we are not hearing that there will be a image file from that. So we're stuck at the latest image file, which is 15002. So just install the original. It works from the original point. So, and yes, you can dual boot Windows Insider Preview and normal Windows 10, but word of caution, dual booting Insider Preview is not a good idea. Because what happens is Insider Previews, you know, you'll have typically one almost every week. At some point, it's going to mess up the boot manager. And you might actually go to your Insider Preview and be unable to go back to your regular Windows 10. I did that for a while with one machine that I have here until it messed up the boot manager. And I understood that, okay, man, water. Okay, so basically, it eventually messed up the boot manager. If you do it in the slowing, there's of course maybe less of a problem, but it's still kind of a problem. You know, you can try out. It took me, I don't know, when I did that, it took me maybe 7 or 8 previews before it messed up the boot manager. So that means it might be a problem. It doesn't happen every time, but and the slowing might be less of a problem. So maybe you can try it, but be prepared, because if you are doing that, be prepared that it could happen and that you might have to completely reinstall Windows. It's not impossible. So, Victor, to continue with my question that I have, is what decides when an Insider Preview? They have internal testing at Microsoft, and they have a list of things that when everything is checked, they're like, okay, seems stable, seems okay, we can release it. And that's what they do. So, for example, today, Donna Sarkar, about 3 hours ago, she said, we're still looking at the data. That means looking at what's happening and the feedback of everybody. Because if a lot of people are complaining about things, they are working on that to try to fix some of the bugs before they will actually release it to everybody. And so they have 2 rings basically for the quality of the build. The fast ring, chances are, is going to be buggy. We've seen a few. I've seen 15002 being pretty buggy for me. In slow ring, which has a higher standard of where it needs and how it's going to work. And basically that is going to be, of course, there's less chances of having problems. It doesn't mean there won't be any problems though. And why is there an expiration date on the insider previews? There is always an expiration date on every insider previews. It is simply because these are beta software, unfinished software. They have a certain amount of time that they work, and after that time they will expire. Even if your machine is eligible for a free Windows 10, it will, when it has the watermark. So the watermark is like you see here. Let's just check out here the oops, just wanted to see the desktop. So if you look at the desktop, I've got a watermark here because this is an insider preview right here, and it says here that it's build 15014 of Windows 10 Insider Preview, which is the latest build, by the way, 15014. And when you have that watermark, which is in the Windows operating system desktop, you have a time limit. And basically, when you have that, you will have also a time limit. And you know, I see a lot of people going crazy because, you know, time passes and they say, well, you know, I only have a month left. Don't worry. Each build, at some point, get one that pushes the date further back. And when you get, you know, for example, the creators update is stated for April. That means that about 2 weeks before the official release, it will have the watermark will be gone. And if your computer is eligible for a free upgrade to Windows 10, you will see that it's activated and has no more date. So this machine, the other insider machine I have, are machines that are already registered with Windows 10. That means when this gets to the official creators update with no more watermark, I will not have any more expiration date. That's always the time that you can stop being an insider, by the way. When you have no more watermark and your expiration date is gone, it's time to stop being an insider. You can remove yourself from the program. But if you remove yourself in the middle, like now, your Windows is going to expire. And you're going to need to reinstall a fresh copy of the original Windows for it to work. So that's pretty much what's happening. Wireless devices. Lots of problems. A lot of people have problems with wireless devices of all kinds. Okay, we have questions for wireless devices coming from Frank in Florida. Frank asks the question, first of all, loves the show. Thank you very much. Has great comments, says that he loves also the From the Couch show, finds it really interesting, and says my nephew Gabriel is really fun. And to continue the great work. Thank you very much. Question number 1. He's thinking of buying a HP Wi-Fi printer, but he has his neighbor that has a Wi-Fi printer and that it has tons of problems. What do you think? You know, there's a lot of there's a all or nothing in the Wi-Fi printers. You know, as a tech guy, I've seen so many clients with problems with Wi-Fi printers. It depends on all sorts of things. There's the chipset. You know, sometimes 2 chipsets, router and printer, can communicate well. It could be, sometimes people tend to put their printers kind of too far away from the router, and the weaker signal, the fact that, especially in a big city, there's tons of Wi-Fi around you, sometimes that messes up the signal and they disconnect. Make sure that you install it well. You know what? Most of the time, if you follow the instructions of install correctly, most Wi-Fi printers work really well. And if they do disconnect, most of the time it just requires you to unplug your router, plug it back, restart your PC, and chances are your printer is going to be back online. It is a thing. There are some times where you might need to mess in your router and kind of, tell your printer, well, you're using that IP all the time and that's it. What is messing up most of the time is the fact that when it renews the IP address and the IP changes, sometimes the PC and the router and the printer, the software that comes with the printer kind of lose sight of where they are. A lot of the software that's installed on the PC is there to check what IP is the router right now. And when that doesn't work well, that's usually when you have Wi-Fi printer problems, is that it loses track of what IP the router is. If that happens, if you're a little more advanced, techie advanced, you can go into your router and say, I'm going to assign my printer this IP. And one last thing, a lot of printers hate when you have invisible networks. So if your network is, you block the SSID so that you can't see that your network is there. And by the way, it's a false security, okay? You can find out the SSID of any hidden network easily. It's really a false security. The better security is having a really good password for your Wi-Fi and making sure you're at the latest WPA2 protocol. And also make sure that, some of the things that I've seen that mess up sometimes the Wi-Fi connections, a mix of devices. So you have Wi-Fi G devices mixed with Wi-Fi N devices with that often messes up. And a lot of the automatic stuff, I turn off on the router, I always turn off the automatic channel selection. I never let it to automatic. Why? Because something happens, and sometimes that's because of the automatic stuff in the router. So, what I usually do is I use a computer or I install an app like in my phone that, like there's Wi-Fi analyzer here. What I'll do is I'll check, okay, here, what channel is the best to use to connect with Wi-Fi? You try to avoid the ones where everybody are on the same channel. And so after that, I go in my router and I say, okay, just use channel 2. That's the one that is mostly clear. Everybody is on other channels. These are a few things that I do that actually improve a lot the stability of the connection. So there's a few things like that that I do. Keyboard and mice, you want to know which brands to choose. You know what? I always buy known brands for wireless keyboard, wireless mice, Microsoft, Logitech. There's a few others that I'm trying to remember the name, but get a well-known mouse and keyboard for the wireless. They usually work well. It's when you get some weird, bizarre, brands, or you get that. Oh, there's this wireless mouse for $9.99. Well, if it's a weird brand and you pay like $5 or $10, expect to have problems. But they usually, a good brand usually works well. And finally, you say that you got freezes and constant stream problems when you're using your TV with Plex, which is a kind of a media hub, turns your PC into a media hub. That is something common. I would do, first of all, do checks. If you have a smartphone, the best thing you can do is install a Wi-Fi analyzer app and go around your home where your TV and everything, if everything is wireless, go around your home and check out the strength of your Wi-Fi signal. Check out is there too many people on the same channels you're using? These are common problems. Wi-Fi is not the best of the best for streaming because there are some cutouts sometimes. And if you can have it plugged in, it usually is much better than having a Wi-Fi. But it does happen. Make sure your PC isn't too busy. Meaning that if your PC is sluggish from the start, you just use it and it's already slow, that could be a cause of the stream not going through well because your PC is already jam-packed in working so hard to do its own stuff that it has to also send video out, and especially HD video takes a lot of data. So your router is an important point in your sending out videos across. A good router, make sure that you have a good router. Some routers are horrible at doing that. There's a lot of little things like that you need to check and be careful because often has problems. That's for sure. So, but I use, look, I have this. This is what I use for the wireless keyboard and mouse, by the way, for my TV, which is an all-integrated. I like it because it has a pad. Because when you're in your living room, you don't want to have a mouse. You need to put the mouse on something. So I like this, and this is a Logitech, and it works fantastically well. So for that, but for streaming, lots of things are problematic. And if your devices are far from your routers, that is something that could be a big problem, especially in sending out HD quality videos to your TV. I do this here, works fine. I do it with another TV that's in my bedroom, and that one has a little more problems, but I know that the Wi-Fi signal is also weaker. So you got to be careful. Bobby saying if needed, get a Wi-Fi extender. I'm not a big fan of Wi-Fi extenders. They often create more problems than they do fix problems. So I'm not a big fan of Wi-Fi extenders. So it's not always a good idea. It depends really. So here the questions have been answered from email. I have one comment from Alexander. Alexander that wanted to tell us that on January 19th, he finally got the anniversary update. And reboot took about an hour and a half to install. Installed smoothly, no freezes, and has no glitches. Everything's working fine. That's why you have to wait. Most of the people that had problems with the anniversary update are the ones that pretty much forced the anniversary update by installing it directly. Pretty much everybody that waits until your computer's ready. So you see, they're still rolling out the anniversary update, and we're January 19th. And it was released on August 2nd, if I remember well. So they're still rolling out the anniversary update. Wow, it's pretty amazing. And okay here. Anything else? Steve Martin, I will do this. Steve Martin has a suggestion about an in-depth video of CCleaner and what the settings and what everything means in there. So I'm gonna check it out. I'm not a big fan of CCleaner. I gotta say, I've never been a big fan of CCleaner, but I will check it out and have a little more of that. I think it's going to be cool. Okay, hello chat room. How are you? How's everybody? Hello there, Mario X101, Electra Thomason, Bobby Burgess. We have Tim Robinson. We have Josh K. Hello there. What do we have? We just check it out. We have Vladimir. Hello there. We have Grateful Pearls, always nice to see you. And Albert Zappa, Betty Boob, Willie Rosado, Miss Lady Catherine, 313, nice to have you here. And Grateful Pearls, yeah, breed, you see, you're breeding. It's getting better. Fast Load, hello there. And if I'm missing anybody, just say hi. Sean Robinson, Kirk Weber, Peter Sargent. Hello, everybody. And really, really nice. One thing you need to check, Electra Thomason, if your mouse is moving by itself, one of the things that happens also, your mouse pad or the place where you put your mouse, if it has holes, for example, a worn out table or a mouse pad that isn't very flat, sometimes the bumps that's in the mouse pad will have your mouse pointer go crazy and it's going to move here and there, all sorts. Hello there, Jacqueline McBride. Nice to have you on board. Christine Bowman. Hello there. Real nice to have you on board. Once again, very nice also. Thanks all for the kind comments of our show, me and Gabrielle of From the Couch, episode 3 coming up this Thursday. And you know, I'm always happy to do that show with my nephew. It's like really cool. So just be careful. Yeah, mouse, you know, all the optical mouses, when the surface you put the mouse on is not perfect, you get all sorts of weird things. A mouse pad that might be overused, or, you know, cheap mouse pads. If you buy sometimes you want to use a cheap mouse pad that's given to you by some company or something, and they're unequal. So when your mouse goes over it, because of the bumps and the fact that that little light that's always checking the surface is moving because of the bumps, the mouse pointer goes crazy. No Creators Updates is rolling out in apparently second week of April. Which means I would consider probably, if you're an insider, last week of March would be maybe the release of the Creators Update for insiders. So, but it's apparently second week of April if nothing goes wrong. And there are a few things missing in it. There that People hub that they wanted to put in that was like connecting everywhere won't be part, and it's kind of funny because that was kind of the feature that they were always talking about. That and the 3D stuff, but that won't be there. So about probably the second week of April, and yeah, you know, malware. Jacqueline McBride, malware is, you know, something that I think, you know, a lot of people get stuck with malware at some point, and it kind of a lesson. The fact that also if you're new, you know, when you're new to a PC, a lot of people I know that are new to a PC click on everything they see. They're kind of, they don't have that awareness of you got to be careful on the web. It's just amazing. Can you switch from Windows Phone to Android? Well, if you buy a new phone, yes. And there's a Android app that even helps you transfer everything from your Windows Phone into your Android phone. I try to remember the name. It is, let me just check it out here. Windows Phone. So if you move to an Android phone, there's something called, trying to find the name. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, Microsoft has one called Switch to Windows. but I know that I'm not finding it. I know that there's an app that copies Windows 10, Windows Phone stuff to the regular stuff. So here's the cat. Here's the cat saying hello to everybody, by the way. Hello there, Mr. Cat. Has to have you here. Wants to say hello. Always comes and visit when I talk. There's some. He needs to say hi to everyone for some reason. So, I mean, by buying a new phone, Hankush Kataria, hello there. Microsoft Word files taking too much time while saving on network on Windows 8.1. Is it just Word files? Have you done a test to make sure that transferring or going through the network in Windows 8.1 works well? You might have a network glitch that makes it very slow. What I would do is remove the computer from the network and recreate the network to have it reconnect. Of course, any switch or routers, unplug and plug it back just to make sure that your router is, or your switch, if you have a switch, isn't having a problem. Can I sing Super Mario Team? Not really. My nephew Gabriel might be better at that, but not me. Oh my God, Panda antivirus. Yeah, I had that. At one point, Panda. What I've used as antivirus. I used, for some time I had Norton. That's way back in 2002, 2003. Then Norton became like this huge beast that takes too much resources, and I left. And when I left Norton, which was at that time I paid for the antivirus, I started looking at free stuff. What free antivirus can I use? And basically, I think I went to Avast at some point. I used AVG at some point. And then when Microsoft created Security Essentials, that's pretty much all I used. And basically, you come to a point where you understand one thing. The security on your computer is what you do. And you don't really need, I will not say don't use an antivirus, but, even though in the tests that I've done, the Security Essentials and Windows Defender isn't the best, it's enough because you understand it's what you do that is much more important than whatever antivirus you're using to stay safe. And you make sure that you update. Basically, so that Windows is always secure. That's one of the things that's very important. Updating your Windows operating system or any PC. If you have a Mac or a Linux machine and you never update the operating system, you're in for trouble. Whatever system you have, you need to update your operating system because a lot of the fixes there are security holes. And I got to say, in all the years as a tech guy, I can tell you one thing. Security holes in Windows or on Macs were to blame for a lot of the infections that I've seen in my life. I can tell you that. What the hell are you doing? Cat is... So, Mario's 101, I'll reset your network. What do you mean? You can reset your router. You can reset everything. You can just remove yourself from the network in Windows and just recreate everything from scratch. Depends if you're sharing files or not, or if you're talking about just, you know. I haven't had malware on my PC in a long time. You know, the last times that I had some malware was not on my main computer, because that's not where I do it, was on another computer that I use to download stuff that I'm not sure of, because I know that they might be dangerous. That's pretty much when I got infected the last few times, is on that other machine that is basically just, you know, made for that. And once I've tried everything, I just, you know, erase the hard drive, reinstall Windows, make sure that it's okay and always clean. Kaspersky Internet Security, at one time, some tried to hack my PC and it was blocked. Yeah, you got to be careful with all of these announcements. You know, some antivirus, it was one of the times that you, one of the times that it was kind of popular. You had that, you know, active blocker, and you would see, oh, somebody's trying to hack into your PC through this port or that IP or that thing or that. You know, one of the things that you got to know is that on the internet, port scans are done, you know, hundreds of times a minute. Every one of us are having port scans and people in bots on the internet that are trying to get in. That is part of, you know, and a lot of people will say, oh, somebody tries to hack into my computer. Well, if everything is all right, they're not technically trying to hack. Yes, they are technically trying to find a hole somewhere that it can go through. But if everything's set up right, it's okay. You know, your firewall, and the best firewall is always the one in your router. It's much better than the firewall, any software firewall in Windows or in a computer. Why? Because it's the dumbest of all the firewalls. So it's just there, and it says, well, no. You know, in Windows, you get a virus. It can change everything in your firewall. It doesn't need, you know, you have, especially if you're the admin of your PC, a virus, a malware can just go into your Windows and say, hey, we're going to change everything here so that, you know, my malware friends comes over. While in your router, if you have, you know, a secure password, not the admin default, basically, you know what? Nothing's going wrong unless your router has a firmware that has a hole in it. But apart from that, you know, your firmware, your firewall in your router is like, it's great because it's dumb. It's like he gets a request and it's like, I don't know you. I don't know you. You're not getting in. That's all. I haven't tried MAME64 in a long time. Tim, I need to check that out. Oh yeah, that's always what I do. You know what? I have two things that I always do. I use my old MacBook when I go to my clients, because I'm not scared of plugging one of their USB drives in my Mac, because 99% of the time, if there's some kind of a, you know, virus that tries to get into your PC by the you know, automatic run functionality, it won't run on my Mac, that's for sure. So for a long time, I used the Mac for that. I knew that if I plugged USB key in the Mac, I was, you know, no dangers. It was better than plugging a client's USB thumb drive on my Windows machine, because that has a great security risk. You know, I always tell everybody that you know, has a business or anything, never let anyone want to plug in a USB thumb drive on your PC. Never, never, never. You never do that. Never do that. You'll run into trouble, because there's always somebody somewhere that, you know, Oh, no, my USB drive is clean. Yeah, right. You just plug it in and, all hell breaks loose, basically. And so, have the Mac. And apart from that, dedicated PC that is for the bad stuff. If I want to try something bad that I know comports, that has risks, basically, it's, something that you just do on a PC that is only for that. Only for that. What's my opinion of the Windows user account control? It's okay, but it's not perfect, and it's not necessarily going to protect you about anything, because a lot of people that get infected answered yes to the question, well, do you want to run this? So basically, the user account control is useless if the person behind it always says yes to everything that shows up. The user account control is better in Windows 10. Where it's very annoying was in Windows Vista. In Windows Vista, people went totally nuts because every time it was popping up, and every time I don't know how many clients that told me, oh, I want this to be deactivated because it's annoying. Every time I click my software, it asks for permission. And Windows 7 was a little better, yet on a lot of 32-bit stuff, it actually asked for permission all the time. And, trying to tell the client, well, I don't want to turn off user account control. It's better that it's there because if something wants to run, it warns you. It's hard. And but in Windows 10, it isn't that annoying. On Windows 10 is actually they've quieted down the user account control to a point where it's not too bad. So hey, take care, Mario X101. See you soon. Let me just go back a little bit in the chat because I saw some stuff and I just don't want to miss too much. Okay. So I'm here. I don't want the screen to go dark. Okay. What else do we have here? Mario. Okay, you're running, but how to upgrade your PC RAM graphics card? That's RAM is easy on most laptops. A little door under the laptop that you can just with a little screw. On a desktop, you open the panel and you see the memory. It's not that hard, but you have to do it right. Graphics card, impossible on a laptop most of the time. Possible only on a desktop most of the time. Hey there, Patrick Manny. Yep, better late than never, they do say. Hello there, Esadev. Nice to have you here. Dwayne Taylor, hello there. Home Studio Hub 2012, Discord, and Wix webpage. And I am only having one problem. The Rocket Raid site stopped working. How to recover website app? I'm not sure, as I don't use these products much. Yep, Patrick, Firefox, all browsers are available in 64-bit versions. Yeah, they are all available in 64-bit versions. The problem is what prevents a lot of people from going to the 64-bit version, like, for example, if you use Google Chrome and you're at the 32-bit version, well, it never tells you that there's a 64-bit available. It always wants to just update the 32-bit version. And same thing for Firefox. Same thing for Firefox. Sorry, Dwayne, cannot help you really much. And yeah, it is very unique. I've tried it, and I need to make a video about this. Opera Neon really reinvents the browser. It's different. It feels modern. And then you go back to Chrome or any other browser, and you're like, wow, these browsers look so old suddenly for some reason. Quick answer to an email that just got in from Jerry. And Jerry says, do I really need to upgrade my PC to Windows 10? I am on Windows 7, and I am doing pretty much everything I want. So what do you think? Absolutely not. You can stay on Windows 7. There's no problem there. I never push anybody to a new Windows version. Unless you change PC and then you'll have a new Windows version. I rarely recommend to somebody to buy a Windows. The only times is, for example, if your PC is really an example, a client of mine about 6 months ago, an old lady, she had Windows Vista, and her nephew was always telling her, well, why have Vista? You should go to 7. You should go 7. She would always ask me every time, I have Vista. Should I go to 7? And she's been a client for a long time. And every time I would tell her, no, you're okay with Vista, as long as it's supported and updated. And, I would install Google Chrome. But last summer, the problems that arise is that, okay, Google Chrome doesn't update anymore on Vista. All things like that now are starting to have a problem with the usage of the internet and what you're doing. So at that point, I told her, I said, okay, well, if you want to upgrade to Windows 7, it's $99, which is the price that I have for Windows 7 home version. And I'm not even sure I can have one anymore because Microsoft really is working hard and trying to prevent everybody from getting one. And I told her, well, $99 plus, of course, my fee to install Windows 7 on her PC. I told her her PC was still pretty good. Or buy a new computer. You decide. It's up to you to decide. It's not to me. And she opted for, well, no, I'll install Windows 7. And that updated, got updated for sure. So, but anybody on Windows 7, you don't have to go to Windows 10. It's okay. Absolutely okay. House party with a code. That's, what, Tim? I've been receiving text messages in the past few months of all sorts of weird things. It's just a lot of people are really, really just, trying to get us to click and do things on our phones that we just need not to do at all. So, it's a hell of a world out there. Anybody have questions, something that they want to talk about? Anything? I was thinking, you know what? No, don't never click. By the way, in any text messages from some unknown source, you never click that link. Never do nothing. I can tell you that. I get that all the time. Automated voices to input a code. I get that very often. I know that some people are trying to hack into my account, so, And I've got some enemies lately, some really big enemies. And so I'm trying to do my best to not fall and talk about it. And especially not give importance. I've been talking, I've been thinking. Yesterday I was thinking about what I was talking about last week. I believe I talked to you guys about a show that would be called Anything Goes. So I don't know. That's cool. Dwayne went from Vista to 7 to 10 Pro. No problem. So I don't know. I'm still thinking about that show. You know, anything goes. We just get online and just, you know, just talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I gotta say. So yeah, well, you know, old accounts. There's a lot of stuff. There's the Yahoo accounts, of course. Everything. Bye, Christine. Take care. There's a lot of stuff happening with the hacking of, you know, the hacking of the Yahoo accounts and everything. It's not a bad idea to change our passwords from time to time. But one of the best ways to prevent everything is two-factor authentication. I can tell you that. Two-factor authentication is great to prevent, even if somebody has a, you know, your password, they still need that code. Have Sony XB650 Bluetooth headphones. It's sometimes break my sound. Only way is restarting my PC. Oh man, audio problems with Bluetooth is an internal problem. Bluetooth is a bad way of sending out audio, and it is a common problem. I've somebody that I know that has a Bose wireless Bluetooth speakers. It's very, very tricky, and depending on what's happening, make sure that your Bluetooth driver on your PC is at the latest version, and hope that that it works. So check for the latest drivers of your Bluetooth on your computer. And but audio breakouts on Bluetooth happen so often. Yes, the cat. You like? He's very, very cuddly. That cat cannot you know, not come and sit on me for more than, you know, every 2 hours, 3 hours. If I'm here, he has to come over and see me, and you know, we're in love. We're in love. What types of you got DirectX issue when you play games, stuff like that? My main build of Windows 10 is working perfectly. I have absolutely no issues at all. No issues at all. No crashes. Nothing bad. Yeah, Peter Sargent. I know. You know what the problem is, Peter Sargent, is because I'm stuck in two things here. I'm stuck with the fact that the Twitter account I have with my nephew is, I kind of want to keep it for the From the Couch show and try not to use that too much for my shows. And the other Twitter account that I have is for the radio stuff, and I hesitate to post a Twitter post to say that I'm going to have a tech show, because it's not related to radio. So that's why I didn't do anything. But yeah, maybe I should. Maybe I should check it out for sure. Yep, you can get spyware on a Mac. You can get all sorts of things. I fixed many Macs that had been infected by all sorts of little things. It's not impossible. It's harder than on a PC because there's less viruses in general, but it's not impossible. It's not impossible. You know, got to keep the same rules. Be careful what you do on the internet. So You know, that's something that's always a problem with games on PCs. Once you start installing tons of games, and older games and new games, at some point you always get to a point where there's some kind of mess up that happens, and you have these missing DLLs. And I remember installing one game at some point. I think it was oh man, what was it? I think it was Call of Duty, that I had like, maybe a dozen PC games on my computer. I installed Call of Duty, and it complained about missing DLLs all the time. That I remember downloading the DLLs one by one from the internet and putting them in the system folder in Windows. And the game started, but it would crash from time to time. And when I did that, I actually broke another game. That's the bad thing about PC gaming. PC gaming, when you install games, and a lot of games, and uninstall games, you run into problems really, really often. And usually that fixes. You have a clean install, and oh man. Phishing scam and hacking of all sorts of things are always going to happen, be it Skype or anything else. That's never going to go away. Yeah, that's a thing that is interesting, Vladimir. One of the things that is that I always tell my friends when they tell me, oh, there's no Mac viruses, is well, no, there are some, but it's just that there aren't a lot. And I would say, what, I've kind of noticed that most of the people that I see with Macs seem to be more serious about what they do with their PC. It's not always the case, but one thing that I was saying is, if one day there's a scam that infects Macs, Mac users are going to be the same, are going to be hooked the same way as PCs, and maybe more, because in a PC environment, when we get an email, a fake email or something, we always, we always, what the hell's happening? Computer is going in some kind of sleep mode. So anyways, when that's happening, basically what happens is that the PC, the Mac side will maybe be less vigilant, because on the PC side, we often know already about the scams. And when these scams are going to appear on a Mac, I would think maybe Mac users will be easier to infect. What I'm drinking today is water. I'm trying to lose weight, so I'm trying to drink beer only on the Thursday show from the couch and on the radio shows that I do. Because I gotta say, I really, really felt like having a few beers while doing the show today. But because I want to lose weight, vodka, yeah, I drink vodka. Imagine if I drank this amount of vodka up to here, I would be completely gone. Can tell you that. Well, I'm raising my glass of water to you guys. So, but on Thursday we'll be we'll be back with beer. And my nephew has like almost a bar at his home. So every time he comes over for our show on Thursdays, what's happening is that not only do we have beers, but he usually brings all sorts of alcohol. So last Thursday, he brought everything to do martinis. because he never had drank martinis. He wanted to try it. So we had vermouth. We had everything needed, anyways. And it was so bad tasting that I remember telling him, let's put a little fruit juice mixed in there to make it better. But we always have, we have our show with our beers, and we can say we have a little party afterwards. It's not really a party. We listen to music, we talk, and we have a few more drinks. And it's kind of fun. It's kind of fun. So, Albert Zappa, System Restore fixed File Explorer layout, but a Google Map photo of my house still missing, but can download that again. Okay. That's kind of weird, Albert. Kind of weird. Gripple Purse, why is Microsoft putting the mail and calendar icon on the taskbar by default in the next major update, even though it will be optional? They're apparently answering from what they say. They're apparently answering questions, answering what people want. Some people say that they want to have, or, I would think they maybe want to push their own apps also. I wouldn't be surprised they want to push their own apps. That would be probably my guess of a better answer. They want to put their own apps there so that, but that's not necessarily what's going to be in the final version. But I don't know. I use, the only reason I use a little bit the Mail app is because by default, if you have a Microsoft account in Windows 10, you have your email already works. The email from your Microsoft account already works in already works in with your email. So yeah, shaken not stirred. I you know what? When you talked about martinis, I immediately talked. Just was thinking about James Bond. I did try peach schnapps, and I did. You know what? I have a little story with peach schnapps, Dripple Pearls. About 10, 12 years ago, a friend of mine, actually, it's a girlfriend of mine that actually brought over some peach schnapps, and she made this weird drink using peach schnapps. So you had the aftertaste of peach schnapps, and with something else, and it was really good. But it was, it's the kind of thing that doesn't seem to have alcohol in it until you drank too much and you're drunk. And the next day I got sick, and you know what? Since then, every time I hear peach schnapps, my heart flips. But and another story that's with peach schnapps is I remember going to a concert, but it wasn't my choice of concert. It was kind of a concert of an artist that I just hate, and we got free tickets, and I'm with my brother and my sister-in-law, and she wanted to see that artist, but me and my brother were like, I hate that artist. But we have the free tickets, and it's an outdoor show. And I remember we went to the outdoor show, and we couldn't have alcohol there, but they let us in with, juice, fruit juice, stuff like that. And I remember looking at my brother and saying, that is going to be so boring. What do you say we go to buy a bottle of peach schnapps, and we put half of the juice bottle with peach schnapps, the other half orange juice, and it tastes really good. And I remember, my sister-in-law coming back and looking at us and saying, "Well, you look drunk." It's like, no, we didn't drink anything. Those stories. That was a very long time ago. I don't know. Man, I was 20, 22 years old, maybe. That is... You know what, gin? There's a friend of mine loves gin, and every time I taste something with gin, I have the impression that I have eaten a pine branch or something. It tastes like trees. Oh man. Well, you know what, Grapple Pearls, you're talking about Outlook, and it's funny because what a lot of people are looking at when they want to have a mail app is funny, but it's the original Outlook Express that was in Windows XP. So many people want to have something like that back. Just amazing. No, Albert, it was not a girlfriend in girlfriend. It was a girlfriend, and meaning that it's a friend of mine that is a girl, but we're not going out together. So don't worry. And can you have Gmail as a Microsoft account? Looks like when I did create new account on my Windows 8.1, I had it in drop-down options. I didn't take a risk that time. Yeah, you can actually, if you go through the Microsoft account stuff, you can actually use a Gmail account as a Microsoft account in Windows 10. It's going to let you do it. I have a few. At first, I didn't know. I used because I have a Hotmail account, but I started going to some of my clients and seeing that they have Gmail accounts as their Microsoft accounts, and thinking, what? They got Gmail accounts? So yeah, apparently you can. Oh man. I can tell you. Yeah, Thunderbird is not a bad email client, but you know what? I've got used to using online email directly so much that I am not inclined to use a mail client anymore. But Thunderbird is a nice option. What is cool with Thunderbird, and you know what? A few of my clients that didn't like or there was problems with other mail clients, I've used Thunderbird. What I like about Mozilla Thunderbird is that every version is compatible with the previous one. So when you want to change computer, when you want to do stuff, you just install Mozilla Thunderbird, import the stuff from the other version. It works. The really, really horrible problem with Microsoft-owned software, well, you can't import Outlook Express stuff into Mail. It's not compatible and it doesn't work. And then you're stuck with Windows Live Mail that can't import the contacts this way. Or if you used Outlook from the Microsoft Office suite, that Outlook isn't compatible with that other thing. And it's like, what the hell is that? Why isn't there a standard between all the Microsoft mail clients that you import and that's it? It's just a damn problem. And so, at least with Mozilla Thunderbird, you just import from version to version, and it's always the same, and it always works. So I like that for that. I can tell you that. So, what I think about Windows 10 getting cleaning tool for files, well, making it better and making it better to clean up your hard drive is not a bad idea. So I think it's cool. And yeah. Tim says his wife uses Yahoo to log into Windows 10. So it works. And yeah, I need to soon, Bobby. I'm waiting for to see my my financial situation, and I really want to get a Chromebook I want to start a Chromebook channel and have a Chromebook and do Chromebook videos. I think that could be cool. Yeah, notifications from the mail app is cool. I gotta say, you know what? I got used to that. I have to say that every time I look at the notifications on the right side, it's like, oh, I've got mail from that, or I've got an email from someone. I have to say it's pretty cool. I gotta say it's pretty cool. Yeah, CCleaner does the job, but it's nice to see that they're adding something in Windows itself, I have to say. So let's check it out here in the email just to see if nobody has sent an email by any chance. So that seems okay here. So no problem, Bobby. I don't think I'll have too much problems. I want to get one of the new ones that has the Google Play Store and you can get Android apps on it and everything. I don't want to have too much of a cheap one. I'm thinking of buying one that is at least $300 or $400 to have a minimum of power in it. But I'm going to check that out. I'd like that. I'd actually like that. It's something missing in my in the stuff that I have. So let me. This is very interesting. The screen is not shut down, and it doesn't seem to be. I don't know. Something's weird. So, anyways, what else do we have here? All sorts, Tim. There's from Intel to a lot of ARM, very powerful ARM processors. There's tons of Chromebooks that run on all sorts of processors, but a lot of them are on ARM, but some are very powerful. But there are some Chromebooks that run on Intel i5s and i7s, actually. So, no, TV isn't actually shut down. From what I see, it's still, I kind of see that there's still, man, I'm going to check it out, but sorry, guys. Just going to take a look for a second here. Could be the TV. Let's just make sure that it's, I think it's the PC itself that is in a specific mode. It's very weird. So, anyways, it's not really important for now. Or maybe the TV just froze. That's something that happens with a smart TV from time to time. And it hasn't happened for the past 6 months at least, so it wouldn't be impossible that it's the TV itself that's just frozen. So let's just see if it works. Okay. And yeah, Russians are coming my way. Cat shoot cable. No, my cat doesn't chew any cables. That's not too bad. Yeah, it's the PC is like in an altered state or something. Here we go. We're getting the picture back. And here we have. Okay. Wife has question, Jill. Noticed an app on her Android phone called Launcher 3. It has the Google logo. Yep, it's a Google Launcher app. It's yeah, that's because she has a Google Launcher on her phone. I use the Google Launcher. Now, depending on your phone you use, you have different launchers on Android. So, for example, by default, the Galaxy S7 has the Samsung launcher, which is the way Samsung wants your phone to be. I have installed the Google Launcher because I want to have a more true Android version, Android way of working with my phone. But the Google Launcher is kind of a way to customize your interface if you want on Android. So just gonna start a little something here that will change the color. So that's the thing it is. So anything else? Launch 3, I have it on Google now. I don't have Google Launcher as of now. Yeah, it's something that that changes the interface of your phone. made by Google itself. So hey everyone, we've been on for a little more than 2 hours. Have you received Nougat update yet? Nope. And by the way, Grapple Pearls, they're slowing down the release of Nougat on the Galaxy S7 because apparently some people are having battery issues since they upgraded to Nougat. So Samsung has slowed down the release. So it might take a little more time before we get it, but I still don't have it. And don't forget that your carrier, like my carrier, can block it and wait for them to decide when it's going to go to your phone, which is very sad. That's the only thing I hate about Android, not having like a Google phone, if you want. Having to wait, that's a little annoying. I hate that. So, hey everyone, we're going to say Note 3 has no Nougat yet. Yeah. I'm going to say bye-bye. We've been on for a little more than 2 hours, so this was pretty cool. Hope everybody enjoyed the show today. That was tech show number 62 for today. And hope that everybody enjoyed the show. helpwithyourcomputers@gmail.com. You can send your questions in the week, and I will answer them next week. And also hope that everybody's all right. Actually, Grapple Pearls, not just with Nougat. There's more and more. There are a lot of reports of the Samsung Galaxy, the S7 Edge, that apparently has a line that crosses the screen at. Everybody has this line at the same spot exactly, and more reports of people complaining that, and which would be apparently maybe a flaw in the when they actually build the phones. So we'll see. So see you Thursday. For those that are going to join us From the Couch, we'll be at episode 3. We'll talk about tech with my nephew Gabriel. And hope everybody enjoyed today's show. And take care, everyone. Always nice to have everybody on board. And please stop talking about beer and cocktails. You're giving me, I feel like having a beer now. So see you Thursday for our From the Couch show. Friday for the VHF, UHF wideband for those that want to join in that show for radio. And of course, for all of those that are only on Tuesdays, next show will be next Tuesday. We're here every Tuesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern, 2000 hours UTC. And of course, we answer your questions, whatever they are and wherever possible. Bye, everyone. Take care. See you Thursday at 4 p.m., 2100 UT. Bye-bye.